All right, it is, excuse me, 6:30. We will call the Monday, November 10, 2025 City Council meeting to order. If you could join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect, thank you. Do we have any additions to the agenda tonight?
I don't have any additions tonight, Mayor.
Hearing none, I'll look for motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Motion carries 4-0. With that, we'll move to public comments. If there's anyone who would like to discuss anything that is not on the agenda, please come forward. And seeing none, we'll close public comments and move to the consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda for further discussion? Excuse me. Hearing none, I'll look for motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And with that, we will then open the public hearing on proposed assessments at 6:31. So Nick, is that anything you would need to go over?
I'll just go recap. We don't have anybody in the audience for anybody
Right.
watching. This is the public hearing on proposed assessments. Each year, cities across the state will submit lists of either delinquent utility bills or other charges which have not been collected and submit those for assessment to property taxes for the following year. Historically, mayor has been that 20 to in the 20s to 30s range for the amount of assessments we've been doing in the past. But since we've adopted shutoffs, once again, that number has now dropped to 4, which has been pretty nice. And I'd say on a monthly basis, I was talking with Alicia about it, probably have 6 or less shutoffs that go out each month, and most of those get taken care of.
Wonderful. That's great news. And no emails or anything to enter into the record?
None of
from
those.
anyone? Okay. So with that then, and no one in the audience, we will close the public hearing at 6:32. And with that, then we will move to adoption of resolutions certifying assessments. So with that, I'll look for motion to approve resolution 2025-18.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And that will take us to the approval of the 2026 City Planning Services Contract.
Thank you, Mayor. John Anderson has announced his effective retirement from municipal planning. He's been with the city for 17 years, and his workload has been such. He does stuff on the public and private side as well, and the amount of work on the private side has been growing pretty steadily, and he wants to focus more on that. So he's moving away from the public sector service side of things. He is with Municipal Development Group, which is a group of planners that provide these services. And he has recommended his successor to be Holly Kreft. Holly Kreft has been doing it for a number of years as well. She hails a little bit east of us, but covers our area and a bit southward for her territory. So it was a natural fit. I know Alicia had mentioned she's worked with Holly in the past in Norwood Young America and had very high praise of her. I had lunch with her a couple weeks ago for a meet and greet, and I was very impressed with what she had to offer and the conversations we had, and she's very eager to jump on in and take over in John's stead. John will still be doing the zoning code project through that since he's contracted for it, and this would take place at the turn of the year once everything's all said and done. John would still be available for questions here and there if there was just information that only really he had, but for the planning services contract for next year, the rates will stay the same as they are in 2025, and then recommending that Holly Kreft take over as our new city planner.
Wonderful, thank you. So with that, I'll look for a motion to approve the 2026 planning service contract with Municipal Development Group, with Holly Kraft being our new planner.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. Any further discussion? So obviously with that, we do want to thank John for all his service. John's been really instrumental in a lot of things. He's been great, has a lot of knowledge, a lot of background. He's done a wonderful job for the city. So he'll certainly be missed, but I have no doubt Holly will jump right in and keep us going down that same path and keep marching us forward. So I appreciate all John's support. Hearing nothing else, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. And then let's consider closing City Hall on Friday, November 28th, 2025, and Friday, December 26th, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. Each year, the city staff come forward and request that the Friday after Thanksgiving have City Hall closed, as we all generally take either PTO comp or one of our floating holidays for that day. That's been tradition. This year, we would also like to request to have City Hall closed for Friday, December 26th, which is the day after Christmas. Same thing, we would use PTO comp or one of our floating holidays to cover that.
Wonderful. I'll look for a motion to close City Hall on Friday, November 28th and Friday, December 26th, 2025.
Motion. Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. That will move us to City Council reports. Councilmember Health, anything to report on?
I had a planning commission meeting last week. I'm still working on updating the zoning and ordinances. Should be bringing that to council here the next month or two,
January?
January, yeah. For a good look over.
Perfect. Councilmember Fausch,
I have nothing.
Councilmember Jackson,
Nothing.
and I did not have any city meetings. I did end up meeting with the owner of Coldwater, Jude Legault, after he was in. So I did meet with him for an hour or so a week and a half ago. Just try to get my arms around what some of the concerns were and some of those. So we worked through. He gave me a little bit more of an understanding. We were going to have a follow-up meeting that didn't end up happening. So I still want to continue to try to build that relationship and see if we can get whatever's resolved in either direction. So
Excellent.
just for a heads up for people. So, and then with that is all I have. So I'll look for motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. And with that, Nick, we can jump right into the workshop. We'll call that to order and start with the 2026 budget update.
Real quick update, as they tend to be as we roll in towards the end of the year here. Couple tweaks in the general fund under general government on that. Telephone, reducing that down from $6,000 to $5,500 as we've controlled some costs there and regraded things. And then under postage, we haven't used that in 2025, and those costs were actually shifted more into print binding. We've had a little bit more print binding this year, so shifting some of that down into there and then increasing to see the increased costs we've had there. Under miscellaneous, we had in 2024 $9,500. That was way too much. Dropped it to $1,500. That thought would be better. Really more, it's landing around that $3,000 zone as we get into looking at 2025 expenditures for 26. So making some minor adjustments there. That's it for the general fund. So as we come towards the end of the year, next time, that will be our last budget workshop, because in the first meeting in December, we adopt everything. So we're sliding into the end here. I don't anticipate much, if any, changes at the next one. So we're looking at revenues over expenditures sitting at $11,674. So one of the questions always is for you guys to think about as we slide into the end, and I'll ask this at the next workshop, how you want to resolve that. It can be a straight levy reduction of $11,674. This can be put into a CIP, shifted there for a one-time to keep the levy where we want it to be. On a $1.1 million budget, that's about 1%. So it's not like we're talking huge dollars here, but keep in mind what you'd like to do there.
Right.
on that front. And then the only other change in the budget was on the sewer end of things under engineering fees. We haven't used much engineering this year, so recommending we drop that. It's just been at 15. That's always what it's kind of been. And then 2024 and 2025, we had in 2023 and 4, and a little bit in 25, we had expenditures with the wastewater treatment facility. Those are done at this stage, and we wouldn't incur any more until we get into construction and bidding. So I figured 25, drop it down to $5,000, and then whenever the project happens, it'll happen on that front. But that's the only change we're seeing in there. So revenues over expenditures, there we're looking at 160,000 revenue over expenditures. Granted, anybody hearing that, that sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but that would be taken down as we do the wastewater treatment facility. We take on debt once again, and that would then shrink back down to offset the debt load in preparation for that. If anybody out there is listening and has questions on that figure. Otherwise, everything else was staying the same. So that's what I have for the budget workshop.
Would you mind going to the EDA tab, please, Nick?
Yes.
So on this EDA tab, I've been thinking a lot about this one lately. And one, let me preface with my apologies on last minute. We're in first meeting in November. I did attend the last EDA meeting because I wanted to talk through some of the things and talk about some of my concerns with this 50,000. Completely forgot that there were 2 council members on the EDA. So with me being the third, we would have had a quorum. So I couldn't, there's not a lot I could talk about. So, and they only meet quarterly. I just am getting to the point, I don't know how others feel on this. I almost feel that we should pause this and regroup on this and make sure this plan is doing what it was originally intended to do and make sure we're still aligned with this. When we first started talking about doing this, it was almost going to be a 1-year thing or maybe 2 years. I mean, we've now put in $100,000. And if we approve for 2026, we're going to be in for $150,000 of taxpayers' money for business. I just feel, is that the right thing? Should we be relooking at this? As we keep going, a couple more years, we're going to be at $250,000 of money. We got, we could be using that for our sidewalks to get them repaired that we need to get done that we've talked about for years. So I know it's last minute. Some of my thoughts were, I'm just going to let it ride through. And then hopefully at the beginning of the year, we could talk about it before we authorize giving the money. And again, somehow where this slipped through the cracks after talking with Nick's like, no, it won't come back to council. Once the budget's approved, the money's good. It'll just transfer over and they'll go through with the plan. I just want people to rethink on some of this, see if it's still the right thing. I still want to I'm going to have a conversation with EDA. I'm going to go to the next one and let them know my concerns. And Nick's going to just write something up that there will be 3 council members in attendance. We're going to do the right thing so I can talk without violating open meeting laws. So, and Sam and Nikki, I'll sit down. I can let you know where I'm thinking on some of this. But is it getting to be a lot of money? $100,000. We're going to be in for $150,000 on this now. Initially when it came up, it was to beautification, get some buildings up looking nice again on Main. I think we've done that. One R&V looks phenomenal. They did a great job. I think it was well spent. We kind of mimicked, I know Watertown did this about 10 years ago to do kind of the same thing. We got some awnings on over by the coffee shop, Knucklehead's door, some things look nice. But was it the intent to keep funding this and having businesses reuse it and help them redo their entire buildings or continue on, or should be a one-time, just think through it. I'm not going to press too hard on this year because again, we're down into November. My first thought was I was just going to let it ride in. If we talked about it and decided, hey, let's pause it, we could take that $50,000 and slide it into street fund or somewhere else where we could use it. But that's all I have on it. Think through it. I'll touch base with the EDA, let them know my concerns, but I just feel it's a lot of money, residents' money that's going into this plan. So that's all I have on it. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. So any other questions on anything on the budget? And like Nick said, start thinking about that 11 grand. I can tell you, for me, I think we should be sliding that into sliding it. I think we're holding things real good. We're looking good. We can always put stuff in sidewalks and streets.
That's what I was thinking is
Always.
sidewalks.
Always. Those are some of the bigger ones.
Because
that we
that's a
need to
big
do.
project, right? That
Yeah.
sidewalk
Yeah,
project.
sidewalk's gonna be big. We still haven't come down to exact, are we switching over now? Are we going concrete? Are we sticking with bituminous on all the old stuff? So we've gotta, but we've been kicking that down. We've been talking 3 years that some of these sidewalks are so bad. We gotta get them. We gotta get
Mhm.
something done.
Agreed.
But, all right, so start thinking through that. And if there's no other questions, and you have nothing else, Nick, well,
Kind of a little off topic, but with the sidewalk project, could we address something along Ash South there? Like from Casey's to DG Market?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I noticed that the other day.
Because there's a lot of people walking down 25.
I saw kids on bikes trying to go down there too.
So I had a conversation, real quick aside, I had a conversation with MnDOT about cost participation, and MnDOT's general response was, yes, we would cost participate, but you have to wait till we have the money available. And when I asked when that would be available, they said sometime in the future. It's not a high priority for them, even though it's a high priority for us. So the two avenues are, do you want to wait for MnDOT funding, or do we want to get cost estimates to just do it ourselves?
and I think that's a good comment. I've noticed it now too, and we can
Mhm.
take that to public
Like little
works and
kids
when we do
that
our
run out
street.
into the
Yep.
road. I mean,
Yeah.
And I saw
yeesh.
kids riding their bikes in people's yards to stay out of the road.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm glad you brought it up because I totally.
Or even if
spaced
we
on
could
it.
temporarily, like somehow
Yep.
widen the shoulder, just even with gravel, just temporarily.
Yeah, I think our
That's
city would
I
appreciate.
State
know,
right
it's-
away, yeah.
I'm sure.
That's
yeah.
highway.
So we can look at that and we'll bring that up at one of our early public
Yeah.
works meetings, start talking about that. Bolton and Mink does a lot of our management for our roads, obviously our road projects and our sidewalk projects, and they have a lot of that, but that's certainly something I think we should look at.
Absolutely.
I looked at it as we went by. There'd be a lot of work to do on those, the way they,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking too,
And
you
it's all
can't-
the way the
drainage.
yards
And they
are.
can't go behind either, can they? Because that
Well, you
doesn't
can,
really-
but it only comes out halfway down.
Yeah, okay.
That's the
I was trying to
problem.
picture it the other day when I was driving by. I was like, oh, is there? a
And I
road
don't
back
know what kind of easements behind those
Those
properties or
businesses,
right
yeah.
away to put like something behind the houses there where it'd be much flatter,
there?
between the industrial and
Yeah. Mhm.
the houses there.
On the backside of the houses, the questions become, would people actually use that, or would they just continue
To do
on
the
roadside
road,
because
yeah.
that's the easiest path?
Right.
Faster. I just didn't know if there wasn't something back there.
It's just something
Be
we
safer.
really
We
should
should look
very,
into it.
very
Yeah, we
much
should
look at because
certainly.
it seems like it's very dangerous.
Yeah, I'm
right
glad you
now.
brought that up. I thought the same thing coming home from work the other day. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you. So with that, we will adjourn. Perfect. Thank you.
Plus, that's not gonna be cheap. With all the